guys remember this blob larger than the size of Texas that was seen in the Atlantic Ocean?
Something weird is happening in the middle of the ocean.
Why is this blocked out? Is this normal?
Some sort of frequency device is being used or tested.
It's like somebody was purposely trying to cover that area up.
Cape Town, South Africa, there was freaky weather happening.
Just take a look at this. We need to talk about these blob anomalies in Africa and why it's suspicious as shit.
Yo, what's good? We're back with another one.
It's showtime.
This was at the beginning of April, and they said that this was the result of a modeling error. Well, guess what's back? As of last week, April 25th, you're seeing this same blob reported in the same exact location. Take a look, it's back.
This is what we saw a couple of weeks ago, this strange anomaly that appeared over here deep in the southern Atlantic Ocean. Again, there's something else down here showing significant waves. Once again, we're going to step this forward 3 hours at a time, go up to 8 a.m. You can see the waves are still there, showing some sort of a disturbance, anywhere from 52 feet up to 63, 75 feet. We're going to step it forward another 3 hours, and you can see this is taking on a different shape. It's turning into what looks like a giant V, to where this last one back on the night stayed basically the same shape on its journey from the southern Atlantic Ocean up towards the southwest coast of Africa, remaining much like that the entire way. This thing here, as you're going to see, spans out a couple thousand miles.
So what could this be? This can't just be a modeling error. It's reoccurred now. It's happened twice. Will it happen again? Let me know in the comments.
Ted, what was that?
There's a UFO base in Antarctica, bro. They're testing weather modification.
Fucking hell, remember, this is for entertainment purposes only.
I was looking at this orbital viewer here, and all models here show pretty much a direct impact here. Near Earth Object Toolkit, it shows what looks like this asteroid directly hitting Earth. Put this into motion, kaboom, it gets swallowed up by the Atlantic Ocean out there.
Fucking hell.
You guys see that?
The theory being that the asteroid impacted in the Atlantic Ocean and began spreading something volatile across the surface and depths of the ocean.
Surely we would have heard about an asteroid impact.
It wasn't an asteroid, bro. They've got a weather modification device on Bouvet Island.
There's three main categories that I think people should know about Bouvet Island. So number one, there was this guy who happened to look at Bouvet Island earlier, and he noticed that it wasn't labeled properly. So he thought this was strange. So he contacted one of his friends who happened to work at the Apple labeling for maps. And he said that this was an anomaly. All maps, all areas are usually labeled. And if this wasn't labeled, that it must have not been labeled on purpose. Number two, if you look at it on the maps, it's extremely pixelated. It's like somebody was purposely trying to cover that area up. There's no detail on the map. Number three is actually these images, and this is Bouvet Island over the months of this year, which has some weird tornado formations coming out of it. What's these weird kind of like vibrational looking things that are affecting the clouds? Here's another one. Here's another one. So what's interesting about this, bro, is that the scientists around are saying, oh, it's just instrument anomaly. But then you overlay that with the satellite imagery and you start to see, well, no, there might be some weird kind of like sound artifact coming out of Bouvet Island.
Told you, bro. They ain't normal clouds.
Yeah, the patterns did kind of match that thing.
These were sent to me from someone who monitors NASA cloud images. Dang! Look at this shape coming from Bouvet Island. I'm just a lowly ham radio operator. I just took an interest in this and I'm sharing videos. What is this coming from Bouvet Island? It's consistent.
What is that?
Over years, we're talking years. Damn, look at that one, bro. You guys tell me, did stuff happen around these dates? Look at this one. What? What? It's just... You guys tell me what you think of this. Please tell me there's a logical reason for this.
What are NASA saying about it?
Come on, bro. NASA lie about everything.
Date is the 14th of April 2024.
Not much going on off the coast of South Africa. What you're going to do is click on the 10th of April. What? The fun begins when you start going along the time frame and you can see the movement of this thing. Ventusky has come out and said it was a glitch. Here's the thing. If it was 80-foot waves, which the data is saying it was, I do not personally believe that could happen because this is a busy shipping area. You would have had mayday calls. There would have been a lot of chaos going on. Also, there's no footage of 80-foot waves. Somebody surely would have taken a picture or video of 80-foot waves. So I don't believe there were 80-foot waves myself. This is just my personal opinion. That is not to say that it couldn't be something else that was energy related or frequency related. This is purely my speculative opinion. Although nothing happened of note, several people have written to me on the channel to say that they have experienced severe weather that they feel was abnormal during and after this time frame.
See? Weather modification, bro.
Changing the weather don't mean there's a UFO base there.
The CIA remote viewer saw it, bro.
We need to talk about these blob anomalies in Africa and why it's suspicious as shit. The first blob anomaly that appeared was on April 10th of this year. It was 80-foot tall waves that spanned 2,000 miles, so bigger than the size of Texas, and it moved northward for 24 hours on the coast of Africa. The second anomaly that popped up was on April 25th, and it wasn't quite as big as far as size, but it still had waves that reached up to 80 feet. It was in a different location as well, but it was still headed towards the coast of Africa. This is the first blob laid on top of a map of UFO sightings from around the world. Please look at Africa and how close the blob anomaly was to a UFO sighting. Let me show you the second one. Here we have our second blob that is headed towards the coast of Africa. Now this all reminded me of a CIA document that I read a while back. Let me show you. Look at this very last paragraph for me. Now what this is remote viewing session notes from 1987. It looks like it's handwritten, and that's because it is. The remote viewer took notes in his own writing. But look where it says South America / Africa, and you can read what he said right there about seeing aliens inside this space inside of Africa. Now look at this. The remote viewer also drew a map and labeled it incorrectly South America, but I'd put my money that this is Africa, because look, that is definitely Africa, and right where he put that X where the UFO base is supposed to be located, there are UFO sightings, and we have the blob headed straight toward the coast of Africa. Y'all, I'm telling you, aliens are in Africa.
Surely there'd be more sightings in South Africa.
They see them all the time, bro.
Did South Africa have a real UFO sighting this week? A video emerged the other day showing what appears to be a strange light in the sky in South Africa. Some have suggested that this is a satellite or perhaps a drone. The truth of the matter is it's very hard to tell from this video. But what you need to listen to is the hilarious reaction from the South Africans around the camera.
That shit is moving. It is moving.
I told you, bro. What the fuck is that?
Bro, this is gonna be on the news, you'll see. Bro, this thing is coming down, bro. This thing is coming down. Let's not over-exaggerate, kid. Think about it. The universe is so huge.
South Africans are the best.
I think a passing ship would have seen a UFO base.
It's underground, bro. They found the entrance.
Oh, I promise you're in for a treat with everyone's favorite unnamed island. People kept asking me to check out the diamond-shaped waves on the coast, so I did. This looks a little like it's possibly obscured, but it could be just some sea mist. Here's some nearby rocks that just look normal, kind of bubbling, but it is a volcanic island. That was Google Earth, but on USGS, the nearby rocks have clear concentric circles as though they're vibrating, perhaps? Here's the big surprise. A helicopter tour of Bouvet Island, yes! Wait, could we slow down? Is that an entrance?
Told you, bro.
There's also this weird thing on the uninhabited island. Naturally, I head off to Google Earth to see if I can find this entrance. Is this an entrance? Or just an alcove in the rocks? By the way, I also found this. It's between Bouvet Island and Brazil, deep in the ocean. Clearly, A structure. And not just a little structure. That's at least 50 kilometers wide.
Damn.
Curiouser. Could it be related to Bouvet Island?
Those lines in the ground did look a bit straight to be natural.
They're old structures, bro. They were here long before humans.
Something weird is happening in the middle of the ocean, and I don't see many people talking about it, so I want to show this video to you. Basically, these guys are in a boat in the middle of the ocean. They're just cruising through, minding their own business, and you're gonna see this weird phenomenon. This may be normal, I don't know. I haven't seen anyone talking about it, not trying to start a conspiracy, but take a look. You're gonna see the water be really like smooth here, and then they're going through a part that's really, really rough. Now, I can't... Right here. So you can... it's kind of... Yeah, right here. See this line? They're in the middle of the ocean. The water is the same depth on here as it is here, but it goes from super rough to really smooth, completely different texture water. I do not know what causes this. Maybe some of you experts out there can give us a hand.
That's caused by frequencies underwater, bro.
I think it's the wind doing it, Ted.
Trust me, bro. There's a giant antenna underwater.
On this island, there is a place that's called Ministry of Humanity, as you see it here. And 5 days ago, someone posted a picture of HARP. I guess we can finally talk about. So if we can talk about that, let's talk about the CIA and its connection to the island. And you can pause the screen and read this, because I really want you to pay attention to the imports that is coming in. And this is where it gets spicy. You see what's operational there? But then check out what happened in 2006 with an earthquake. Yeah, that's right, an earthquake. Because who remembers in March 11th of 2011, we had a tsunami that took place, and also there was a lot of people who exposed HARP being operational the night before. And now back to this in 2014 where they rebuilt it. So now I guess it's time for me to get inside of satellites to see the image that's crossed over this island, where January 4th, 2019, you had the fun clouds taking place. So who's ready for me to go live, and we'll go through every single one of these satellite images.
They had to make a deal with the penguins, bro.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, bro. There's penguins in the Norwegian armed forces.
A penguin has been promoted to the third highest rank in the Norwegian armed forces.
Fucking hell.
Major General Sir Nils Olav III, Baron of the Bouvet Islands, was just promoted to Major General last month, and he's the most highly ranked military penguin in the world. Sir Nils was awarded his new badge of honor at a ceremony in Edinburgh, Scotland, which was attended by over 160 uniformed soldiers. The ceremony involved a carefully choreographed parade in which Sir Nils inspected His Majesty the King of Norway's guard. He was knighted in 2008 and promoted to brigadier in 2016. And now that he was promoted to Major General, he even outranks his namesake.
I had to fact check this one myself, and it's actually true.
You don't want to fuck with the penguins, bro.
Crazy update today on the Blob. I'm sharing information sent by other people. This is the day before May 6th, when one of the appearances of the Blob, right? We're seeing swirling very close to the area of Bouvet Island. But get this. This is May the 6th. This is the day the Blob showed up at ventusky.com. Why is this blocked out? Is this normal? Do we normally see giant areas of satellite imagery blocked out? But check this out. Check these coordinates. Okay? And in a minute, I'm going to show you the relation of these coordinates to Bouvet Island. Now, I'm a licensed ham radio operator. That's the whole point of my channel, is ham radio. I love ham radio. So I recognize this shape. The first thing I think of is an antenna. I'm showing you images of a Yagi-Uda antenna. You can recognize the shape. Look at this, though. I also am familiar with underground heating of concrete. Look what that looks like. I mean, this rabbit hole really keeps getting deeper. And I just want to remind also the relation to this area to Bouvet Island. There's a mysterious Bouvet Island that has no label when you zoom in on Google Earth. Here we go to our strange, definitely unnatural pattern. Let me know in the comments what you think.
Someone would have noticed them building a giant underwater antenna.
It's been there for thousands of years, bro.
The blob. This looks like a blob too, and it follows a magnetic force when dispersed into nanoparticles. The magnetic force gathers the particles into a blob. We know the blob appeared from a fault line area because there's a mysterious island down there. This ferrofluid contains nanoparticles of iron. Well, what if something is leaking from the fault with nanoparticles of iron and a magnetic force is gathering it and pulling it to the north? Even how the ferrofluid dissipates and breaks up as the magnetic force pulls away is just like the behavior of the blob. Yes, Ventusky came out and said it was a glitch, a model error, but many people aren't buying this. Right by Cape Town, South Africa, there was freaky weather happening, as well as radar weather going down in the US and other strange weather anomalies. See my past videos for that. That's where I'm at with the blob.
It's probably just a coincidence.
Nah, bro. They keep fucking up the settings.
Now, this has been happening since April. And they were saying, oh, it was a model error. Early? Over a month later, and it's the 5th time. Still in error? I still believe that, huh? Very interesting. I would believe that. But I'm going to show you the evidence of how many stories of floods. Look at all of these stories about floods in a particular area where the blob was surrounding. What's y'all answer for that? I'm just saying. But what do y'all think below? Leave in the comments.
You think all those floods are coincidence?
It's gotta be. Floods do happen.
Not that much, bro.
You didn't think I'd forgotten about our little island, did you? No name unless you know it. None of the apps like it. You can't even find it or Prince Edward Island from 2017 to 2022. Poof.
They photoshopped it out, bro.
Yeah, that's a bit weird.
On this app, there's a weather marker, so you can see what the temperature is by Bouvet Island. Oh, what's this marker? Remove me, version 3. Dev test spot.
Dang.
Another dev test spot. Remove me 22? I hope they're not doing testing by our island. By the way, this report from the US Army Research Center is investigating gravity anomalies by Marion Island and Bouvet Island.
What?
I'm sure I'm not the only one missing the blob. I guess it was just a glitch. Oh, by the way, venomous snakes have been washing up on the shores of South Africa. Apparently most uncommon. They say strong sea currents are pushing them into colder waters. Even 500 turtle hatchlings also washed up. I'm sure it's just a coincidence.
Yeah, something don't seem right with this island.
Bro, look what's going on in the ocean.
Something really strange is happening in our oceans, and the wildlife is clearly reflecting that. Groups of whales have been coming together before beaching and unaliving themselves, and scientists have no clue why. This specific group was located near Australia, and the general assumption was that they may have just wandered too close to shore by accident. But the exact same thing happened near Taylor's Bay, and according to the locals who were trying to help, the whales and dolphins sounded like they were screaming for help. Check it out real quick.
First stranded before 2 p.m. yesterday at the rocky beach in Taylor's Bay. They were screaming. It is probably the thing that's stopping me from sleeping because you can hear this screaming in your ears. They were making more than a noise. They were really yelling out for help.
And even after the locals and rescue teams helped the whales back into the water, they re-beached themselves further down the coast, almost as if they refused to go deeper into the ocean. Over in the beach in Oregon, a female anglerfish washed up, which is really strange when you consider that they live 2,000 to 3,000 feet deep. And with the huge anomaly that we were initially told was a glitch coming back, people's speculation is starting to grow and theories are starting to circulate. I touched on the first theory that states that very large creatures or a very large creature, possibly Leviathan, has entered our ocean's ecosystems, eating the wildlife and scaring them as well. But there's a second theory stating that some sort of frequency device is being used or tested, heating up the oceans and scaring the wildlife. Leave a like and let me know what you think.
They might have pissed off a bloop, bro.
What's a bleep?
It's like a megalodon blue whale hybrid, bro.
These are the 5 scariest sounds ever recorded in the ocean, and the last one is the scariest of all. First sound was recorded years ago by researchers in the Mariana Trench. Many believe it to be an unknown creature living in the Mariana Trench. This is the sound of a beluga whale impersonating a human. Scientists are still confused as to why whales try to sound like humans. Next one is the sound of a creature scratching the ocean floor, and by the sound of it, this thing is massive. This is the sound of a humpback whale hunting. Scariest sound ever recorded is the bloop. Scientists claim that it was just an iceberg breaking.
Iceberg, bro.
Yeah, it didn't sound like an iceberg.
The bloop. Most of you have already probably heard it, but maybe you haven't heard the actual real-time recorded version. It was first heard in 1997 when it was picked up on hydrophones across the Pacific, and whatever it was very, very loud. The underwater microphones that picked it up were around 3,000 miles away and still managed to detect it. Most versions on the internet have been speeded up by 16 times so that the bloop can be heard easier, but the original version I find far more eerie and mysterious. Let's take a listen.
Sounds like a USO, bro.
Don't sound like a big fish.
Trust me, bro. The bloop is out there. That was scary, bro.
Shortly after this recording, the sound was pinpointed by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. It was located around 650 miles off the South American coast in a remote corner of the Pacific Ocean. Fans of fictional tales went wild because it's around here that the legendary Cthulhu creature written by H.P. Lovecraft in 1928 was alleged to have lived. Now, although the NOAA now believe the sound was caused by an icequake, there is actually no real evidence to prove that this was the cause. So, what do you think it was caused by? Some say it was a blue whale, but there are no recorded blue whales in history whose sound could be heard from 3,000 miles away. Others strongly believe it was some sort of whale hybrid or other enormous unknown sea creature.
The bloop is real, bro.
We're getting a bit off subject here, mate.
You need to know about the bloop, bro.
If you're ever in the ocean, you hear a super deep roar, you probably shouldn't swim in that direction, because it might be the bloop. The bloop is a name given to the sound of an ultra-low frequency that was recorded in the South Pacific Ocean off the coast of South America. It sounded like this. Early speculations was that the sound was from a very large, undiscovered marine mammal due to its deepness. But in 2012, although they didn't know for sure, scientists decided it was more likely a giant iceberg that was cracking and breaking away from Antarctica. However, guys, this is a map of all the unmapped areas of the ocean floor around the world. Literally 80% has not been seen. Who are we to say the bloop isn't out there terrorizing the ocean and eating whales or boats? Tell me what you guys think. I'm on Team Bloop.
Someone would have caught something that massive on camera by now, mate.
They already have, bro.
Look, they spotted the blob. It's only for a couple seconds. Look at that shit. So for those who don't know, the blob is basically supposed to be one of the biggest sea creatures that exists in the ocean, supposedly. Everybody thought to believe the megalodon, but it's really the blob. Right here, this is like a baby blob, and this is a blue whale. They said that, you know, the blue whale is supposed to be the biggest ocean creature, but nah, bro. The blob is given the name of a mysterious underwater sound recorded in the 1990s, right? They try to tell people that it was just ice shelves breaking in the Arctic and all that, right? But they said that the sound was so scary that it sounded like a group of 90 blue whales from one sound. Now, this is supposed to be a 3D image of like how big the blob is compared to a human. And y'all wonder why people still to be in the ocean, right? We're gonna run it real quick, one more time. Look, y'all, look at that shit. Oh my God!
Ted, that was fake.
What about this one then?
Have you seen this footage? This is of the Leviathan, or Leviathan, whatever the hell you call it. It attacked this cruise ship. Just take a look at this. What could it be? What is that?
Damn, look at that, bro.
I look like Godzilla.
That one probably was a Leviathan. It's the year of a dragon.
Yup, this is it for us, as scientists have found this angry biblical creature that is larger than a continent coming out of the water, and we have been warned about this for centuries. People were terrified after a biblical end-of-the-world creature was seemingly spotted on Earth, as the Bible warns us in Isaiah 27:1 that a huge Leviathan creature will roam around until Judgment Day, and when it rises, it will be the end for us all. And many are horrified, saying it's rising up now. Experts had taken this aerial view of a huge Leviathan-like head underneath the ocean, with many saying it cannot be landmass, as what appears to be its head is moving. Many people were terrified, with even sonar equipment back in May showing something dark and hundreds of feet in the water starting to move to the surface, and it's already bigger than the size of Texas. It's believed to be coming to the US, as Wyoming recently just had a huge crack the size of 6 football fields open up almost immediately, with scientists still not knowing fully how or why. Even just the frequency of earthquakes recently, to even several whales and animals just ending up on the shore not alive anymore, have all been eerie signs. Several articles and studies have not been able to fully clarify where all these things are coming from.
Ted, nothing on Earth can have a head the size of South America.
It could be a Julia, bro.
If NASA discovered a massive skyscraper-sized sea monster in Antarctica, what do you think they would do? So just like the sound the Bloop was recorded in the ocean, there was another similar sound recorded back in 1999 called Julia. This sound kinda eerily sounds like a woman's voice underwater. It was so loud that it could be heard for over 3,000 miles. And while scientists say it was likely just an iceberg rubbing against something, others speculate it was something way more interesting. Some claim that at the same time the sound was recorded underwater, a NASA satellite got a picture of a shadow 2 times the size of the Empire State Building moving near Antarctica. However, it's said that this satellite image is just like a conspiracy or misinformation, which I love spread. But anyways, if you want to hear more about Antarctica monster myths, I just did a longer video on YouTube about it. Go check it out.
So we got a UFO base, a Leviathan, bloody penguins, and a Bluff and a Bloop.
I've seen crazier shit, bro.
In January 2015, investigative reporter Linda Moulton Howe stumbled upon a mysterious Antarctic tale when she got an email from Brian, a retired U.S. naval flight engineer with a wild story from his time in Antarctica in the 80s and 90s. Brian dropped a bombshell, claiming he saw some seriously strange stuff during his 4,000 flight hours over Antarctica.
Naval flight engineer. He's asked me to call him only Brian.
The juiciest part of the story is that he stumbled upon a massive, perfect circle carved into the Antarctic ice sheet, leading to a glowing cave entrance below.
Looks like a butthole.
But here's where it gets even weirder. When Brian tried to get closer, all the gadgets in his aircraft went haywire, and they had to do an emergency restart.
Dang.
After that encounter, shady authorities confiscated records and gave Brian and his crew the silent treatment. Intrigued by the craziness of Brian's story, Linda dug deeper.
Something archaeological in Antarctica.
Brian later spilled the beans on what went down. In 1987, during a resupply flight out of McMurdo Station, Brian and his crew got last-minute orders to pick up something from a remote campsite in Antarctica's interior. When they arrived, they found the camp trashed and deserted, with no sign of human activity anywhere. This creepy scenario kicked off a string of disappearances at Antarctic stations. Odd radio bursts and strange languages popped up before each disappearance, coming from some unknown source deep under the ice. As the crew got jittery, Brian's co-pilot spotted a big shiny craft silently cruising past their cockpit.
A signal came from under the ice.
Yeah, bro. There's a lot going on under the ice in Antarctica. But we'll have to save that for next time.
Hold up, Ted. We got more supers from the guides.
Tell them about the candles, bro.
We found a company that only supplies churches, so we called them up and managed to talk them into supplying us. So now they're supplying churches and us. So thanks, guys. That's because of you. We've been buying them individually every week, so the donations really help, guys. Thanks so much.
Yeah, shout out the OG Matt Valencourt, Freedom Frog, Brother Rudlock, ICU, Brother Jumbie, aka Stakehold Radio in the chat. Yeah.
Alexandre Martin donated $60, mate.
Dang, we're gonna need more candlestick holders, bro.
I think I might have another idea what we can do with the money, you know. But we'll have to save that for next time.
Right, that's my line, bro.
Thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next one.